All right, welcome. Today, we're not just going to study some boring old grammar. Nope. Today, we're stepping into a kingdom, the kingdom of English, to learn its most important laws. Are you ready to start the journey? So picture this. In this kingdom, you have your commoner verbs, like play, eat, or sleep. They need help, they follow a ton of rules, but then there's the royalty, the modal verbs, and ruling over all of them, there is one king. And here he is. Let me introduce you to the hero of our story today, the all-powerful King Can. Understanding how he thinks and how he rules is the key to mastering a huge part of the English language. King Can's power really comes from two main areas. The first is ability, what you know how to do. The second is possibility, what you're able to do in a certain situation. He's the verb that gives you the power to express your own potential. Now, to serve the king correctly and use his power, you have to obey his 3 royal decrees. And these aren't suggestions, okay? They are absolute, unbreakable laws that set him apart from every other verb. First law, and this one is so important. The king is immune. Unlike those common verbs that add an S for he, she, or it, King Can doesn't care who you're talking about. He never, ever changes his form. Just look at the difference here. Saying she can's play is considered grammatical treason in this kingdom. Real loyalty is shown by simply saying she can play. The king doesn't bow to anyone, and he certainly doesn't change for anyone. Okay, decree number 2. The king is direct. He does not like middlemen. The verb that follows him, his loyal subject, must appear bare. That means without the word to. He wants a direct audience with the action. See what I mean? Saying "can to dance" is an insult to His Majesty. You're putting a barrier between him and the action. Royal loyalty is just they can dance. Direct, clean, and powerful. And the third decree, King Can is so powerful that he is completely self-sufficient. He doesn't need help from servants like do or does to ask questions or make negative statements. He can handle it all by himself. Offering him the help of do is like questioning his power. It's treason. To show loyalty, you simply let the king take the lead. Can you go? He leads the question himself. So now that we know the laws, let's look at the official protocols for speaking to His Majesty. In other words, how to build sentences correctly to show the proper respect. To make a positive declaration, the protocol is simple. First, the subject, then the king can, and finally, the action. 3 easy steps. I can speak. To express a limitation, the king appears in his negative form, can't. The structure is exactly the same, only now the king is declaring what is not possible. He can't fly. And to ask a question, the king shows his power by taking a step to the front. He moves before the subject. This move is known as the modal leap. The king leads the question, can you help? All right, you know the laws and the protocols. But there is one last secret, one that only the royal heralds knows, and it's absolutely crucial for being understood in the kingdom. The sound. This is the question that confuses every single visitor to the kingdom. The difference is subtle, but it's fundamental, and if you don't master it, you can cause some pretty big misunderstandings. Here it is, the phonetic secret. The positive can is weak and quick. It sounds like kun. It almost disappears. But the negative can't is strong, long, and stressed, can't. Mastering this sound is the key to everything. Listen carefully. When you make a positive statement, the power isn't on can, it's on the action. That's why we say I can swim. The emphasis goes on the main verb. Can is just a little whisper of support. But when you're saying no, the power is in the negation itself. All the force lands right on can't. You stretch it out, you stress it. I can't fly. That way, nobody will ever doubt that it's impossible. The time has come. You've learned the laws, the protocols, and even the herald's secret. Now you must pass the test of the kingdom to prove your loyalty to King Can. First challenge, can you correct the treason in this sentence? He can speak English. Take a moment, think about the king's first decree. Second challenge, take a close look at this declaration, I can to run fast. Which part of this sentence insults the king's authority? And the final test. Observe this question. Do you can help me? Why is this question an act of grammatical treason? Think about that last decree.
And here are the royal verdicts. The loyal way is, he can speak English, because the king is immune to the S. I can run fast, because the king demands a direct audience without two. And finally, can you help me? Because the king is totally self-sufficient. If you got all three right, you have proven your loyalty.
You're no longer just students. You are now loyal subjects of King Can. You know his laws and how to use his power. So the final question is for you. With this new knowledge, what can you do now? The power is in your hands.